Hi everyone! Starting from this lesson, we are going to look into different tenses. Before we start, let's have an overview of different kinds of tenses in English. There are three main tenses. They are present, past, and future. And then, each of them can be divided into four aspects: simple, continuous, perfect, and perfect continuous. Therefore, there are 12 kinds of tenses in English. In this lesson, we are going to learn simple present tense and present continuous tense. Later, we will use a timeline to illustrate the tenses, and we are going to use these symbols to signal where the action occurs. You can first take a look at them. The first thing we are going to learn is the formation of the tenses. How do we form the present tense? Let's look at the verb to be first. In a typical SVC sentence structure, we use is, am, or are to form an affirmative sentence. For example, he is spotty. For verb to do has two forms, the base form and the S form. We use the S form when there is a third-person singular subject, like he, she, and it. For example, he plays football. To form a negative sentence, we just add not after the verb to be. We have, he is not spotty. And for verb to do, we add the auxiliary do or does and not before the verb. He does not play football. Here, isn't and doesn't are the short forms. They are commonly seen in spoken English. To form questions with verb to be, we put is, am, are before the subject, and it becomes, is he spotty? For verb to do, we put do and does before the subject. Does he play football? Next, let's look at the present continuous tense. To form an affirmative sentence, we must use the is, am, are plus the verb ing form. Say, he is playing football. For negative sentences, we just add not after is, am, or are. We can also use the word isn't. For question, we put is, am, or are before the verb. It is very easy to distinguish the tenses by looking at the verb forms. After learning the formation, we are moving on to their usage. Let's take a look at the easiest tense, the simple present tense. Here are some general situations in which we should use the simple present tense. Number 1, states, he seems happy. Number 2, opinions, like I agree with you. And number 3, feelings, I like ice cream. And then we have number 4, senses. Senses means how we taste, see, smell, or touch something. Here's the example. The coffee tastes delicious. And the last one is possession. The book belongs to her. Let's dive into more specific details. Here is a table comparing the simple present tense and the present continuous tense. Let's start with the left-hand side, the simple present. There are two common usage, habits or routines, and facts or prominent truths. For habits, when an action takes place frequently, we use the simple present tense. For example, he gets up at 7 a.m. or I go to school every day. Next, we also use the simple present tense to describe facts and prominent truth, which are something that we cannot deny. Say, there are 12 months in a year. That's true, isn't it? When we talk about habits or routines, we can use the following expression. Effort or frequency are very common. For example, always, sometimes, never, and usually. We use them when telling how often the repeated activities occur. Here are some of the example sentences. Apart from the effort or frequency, the adverb every is very useful too. We can put day, week, month, and year after the word every to tell others how often the action occurs. For example, we take showers every day, or we go traveling every year. After going through the usage of the simple present tense, let's move on to the right-hand side, the present continuous tense. We commonly use the tense under these three major scenarios. Number 1, unlike the simple present tense, which describes the states of being, the present continuous tense describes actions that is constantly changing. For example, he is getting taller and taller. We use present continuous tense to talk about something that is changing in progress. Number 2, when the simple present tense describes actions happening regularly, the present continuous tense describes action happening right now. Say, you are watching a video. We need the verb ing form to emphasize that the action is taking place right now. And number 3, which is a little bit special, is talking about future plans. When we have planned something in the future and it is very likely to happen soon, we can use the present continuous tense. For example, when we are having lunch at the weekend. That means we have planned to have lunch at the weekend and it is very likely to happen. Time for recap and practice. In this lesson, we have learned 2 tenses, the simple present tense and the present continuous tense. In terms of the usage, simple present tense is mainly used when talking about truth or repeated activities, while present continuous tense is used to talk about action happening right now or action that is changing. Talking about future plans is another featured usage of present continuous tense. For the formation, the verb goes to the base form and the S form in simple present tense. The auxiliary do or does are used in negative sentences and questions. How about the present continuous tense? We must use the is, am, or are plus the verb ing form. For negative sentences, we add not after is, am, or are. And for questions, we put is, am, or are before the subjects. There are 2 practices. In practice 1, you are going to find the verb in each sentence and mark them in red color. After that, you need to identify whether the sentences are in simple present tense or present continuous tense. Put a tick in the correct box. Let's look at the example sentence. We usually go hiking on weekends. Here, we have the verb to do go after the subject we, and therefore, we can mark go in red color. After that, let's take a look at the prepositional phrase, on weekends. The phrase tells us that the action go hiking takes place every weekend. Therefore, the sentence is in simple present tense. Next, let's take a look at question 1. They are going to the library now. Are going is the verb of this sentence, and the verb ing form tells us that it is in present continuous tense. For question 2 to question 8, you may try them on yourselves. In practice 2, you are going to make some sentences. Try to make 2 sentences for each tense. After that, paste a picture next to each sentence. Here are my examples. Give it a go yourself. That's the end of this lesson. See you next time.